Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another video at my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be using a bunch of brand new Paper Smooches products. I'm going to be using the Botanicals 3 stamp set, the Frame 4 die, and then also one stamp from another stamp set. So I'm going to start out by doing some of the die cutting. My plan is to have this frame area masked off and then with a lot of those flowers and leaves stamps around it. But I am going to be using the frame as well. So first I cut the frame out of some Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and then I ran it through my Big Shot machine one more time to create the masks with some masking paper. So I took the interior piece from that frame die with the masking paper, and I put that down onto some Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. This is just a regular card front size, although I have cut it down to be slightly smaller. So it is 5 1/4 wide by 4 inches tall. I then mounted all the different leaves and flower stamps that I wanted to use on a bunch of little blocks. And I'm going to be using a few different W+9 ink colors today. I don't think I've ever used these colors in a video yet, but I've had them for a little while and I absolutely love these colors. They're nice toned colors. They're a great complement if you have the Simon Says stamp ink pads, because the Simon colors, most of them, or the original colors, were very bright and vibrant, almost like rainbow-like colors. And the colors from W+9 are more muted and toned, so it's a really great alternative to those bright colors, and it fits in nicely with all the other ink pads. And the good thing about it is that this ink is the same formulation as the Simon Says stamp ink pads, as well as the Hero Arts shadow inks. So if you want to use all of these ink colors interchangeably, you could use them together and have no problems whatsoever. So I stamped all of those leaves and flowers, and then I took the frame mask and I needed to put this down while that interior mask was on so that I could get it in the right place. So I'm just putting that right over that area. And then I'll lift up that cardstock and peel off the interior piece. Now I'm not going to throw away this interior piece. I'm going to use it as a reference to stamp the interior areas. That's because I want it to look like these leaves and flowers just change color as they go over that line going into the center of the frame. And I'm going to do a little bit of masking so that I can bring in some color. I wanted to have a background color on this as well, just so that it's very different from the outside areas. So I'm taking the Silver Lining ink pad from W+9 and an ink blending tool, and I'm just blending on some of that color. Now I didn't blend on too much at the beginning here, but I will add some later. So I'm using a clear piece of acetate as a mask just to mask off that area, and so I can still see through it and match up those leaves and flower stamps. So you'll notice that I'm stamping it in the gray ink, but I lined it up with the leaves that are green, and as well as this coral colored flower. And I did this because I want it to look like as it moves over that line of the frame, the color of ink just changes to all grays. So I moved this acetate around. I would clean it off after I moved it and then tape it back down with some masking tape. And this allowed me to move around all 4 sides of this design here and keep stamping all of those leaves and flowers. Now I noticed that in some of them, as I stamped them, it looked like the old ink color was showing through. But in the end, it dried back and everything turned gray, so it turned out just fine. So I'm just continuing stamping all of those flowers and leaves. I'm going to finish off with those little interior pieces. And then I'll peel off that mask and you'll be able to see how cool it looks. I think this would look really neat even if you didn't use the die cut frame on top. Just to have that area masked off with everything gray in the middle is kind of cool. So I realized that if I was going to put some white words over the top of this, that I needed to have that bottom area be slightly darker. So I put some Post-it tape down at the bottom to mask off the bottom. And now I'm blending on some more of those colors. More of that color just to make it a little bit darker. And I did get it quite darker, and I really needed all of that dark color to serve as contrast. So peel off that tape and you can see that it really emphasized the bottom area of that frame. I'm going to use my powder tool just to prep the area so that I can stamp and emboss. And then I took that Hello stamp from the Trees stamp set and I stamped that in Versamark ink. Versamark's a really sticky ink, so it's perfect for embossing. I then sprinkled on some Hero Arts white embossing powder and really tried to shake that off. There were some areas where it was sticking, and I think it was because of that masking paper. It can just leave behind a little bit of residue. Nothing that you can feel as you touch it, but just enough that it makes that embossing powder stick. So I used a dry paintbrush just to brush off any of those extra areas of embossing powder. Then hit it with my heat tool until everything was melted. And then it was time to, well, before we wound the frame, I did want to leave this in. Some of my stamping wasn't completely solid. I think I need to re-ink my Versamark pad. So the white embossing had little holes in it, and it just didn't look quite as nice as I would have hoped. So I took my white gel pen and just fixed up that area. I prepped my card base by scoring at 4 1/4. This is going to be a top folding landscape card. So I just folded that down, and then I took some foam adhesive and put foam all behind that whole panel and then adhered it down to the card base. So that frame that I'm going to be adding on top is really, really thin. So I ended up taking some foam tape and just trimming it off so that I made some little strips. And then I placed it onto the frame, and I ended up having to use even smaller strips on those ends. So after I had the foam all on the frame, I peeled up the backing on the foam and then used some tweezers to hold it over my project while I got it in just the perfect place. So if you wanted to, you could leave the card like this, but I really wanted to emphasize that frame. So I ended up taking some Ranger enamel accents in white and completely coating that entire frame. Now, enamel accents can be quite wet, so the paper did want to warp a little bit. So I didn't get this on camera, but I did end up going back and putting a little bit of foam just underneath the ends on those shorter ends so that it wasn't curling down and touching the paper. I just, used my scissors and put some foam tape on the end and just, slide that underneath. So that's the card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this really simple masking video with a frame, and I will see you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow for a blog hop. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching today's video. The 3 videos that are on screen right now are ones that I used small flower stamps, and I did a little bit of masking for them. So if you want to check out any of those videos, just click on them on screen right now. You can visit me on social media at Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest, and you can visit my blog at KWarnerDesign.com. Once again, thanks so much for watching my videos each week, and I will see you guys in the next video.